filled out, and somebody literally made an AI picture of the Caitlin Clark thank you card that should go out to Caitlin from every player in the league as part of the Caitlin Clark stimulus package, as my boy Ben Daniel would call it. Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Let's look at this.
Thank you cards. Caitlin Clark received AI-generated thank you cards from every WNBA player. That is where we are right now. And honestly, looking at these new compensation statistics under the new CBA, they may be genuine because we are watching the most significant salary transition in WNBA history, and it is not occurring in a vacuum. These raises are paid by a $2.2 billion media rights contract that would not exist if the Caitlin Clark effect didn't drive ratings sky high in 2024. Let's put some numbers behind this. Aaliyah Boston increases from $94,000 to $574,000. That's a 600% rise. But here's the detail everyone is overlooking. With performance escalators for making the All-WNBA team, Boston's actual compensation may exceed $1.1 million. Caitlin Clark goes from $85,000 to $528,000. Paige Buchers, who has yet to play a single WNBA game, is expected to earn $500,000 straight away.
Clark, $85,528K. Now, the reason that Aaliyah is becoming eligible for that incentive is because she's been in the league 1 year longer than Caitlin Clark. Paige Buchers goes from $80K to $500,000. Cool, $500,000. Cameron Brett, $85K to $493,000. Hell, she missed most of an entire season. Sonia Cintron, $80K to $400.
Now here's when things get interesting. Cameron Brink, who missed much of her debut season due to an ACL tear, jumps to $493,000. Sonia Cintron, one of the league's most underestimated performers, jumps from $80,000 to $436,000. However, the real story is not who makes more money, but who earns less than planned. Angel Reese is being paid less than Camila Cardoso. Let that settle in for a second. Cardoso was picked third overall. Reese placed seventh. So on the rookie compensation scale, Camila is $110,000 ahead. Draft position counts, which is causing some awkward discussions regarding perceived worth versus actual compensation. Reese established an entire personal brand on being Caitlin Clark's rival, sold out her own Reebok sneaker line, launched a podcast, and staged a festival with allegedly little attendance, yet her base salary is $376,000, compared to Cardoso's $486,000.
Spot track, and this is the highest paid among the rookie classes involved here. Aaliyah Boston 1. Diamond Miller? Huh? Say what? What? All right. Number 2. Ahead of Caitlin Clark. What the hell? All right. My girl Camila Cardoso, she making a cool $110,000 more than Angel Reese.
Diamond Miller makes $536,000. That statistic stood out to everyone who follows the league. She is the second highest paid player in the 2023 draft class, trailing only Caitlin Clark from the 2024 class. How does this work? Simple. She's been in the league for 1 year longer, which qualifies her for various escalator bonuses under the CBA framework. This is where the complexities of the new collective bargaining agreement become apparent. Performance escalators, team success bonuses, all of the NBA selections, all-star appearances, and championship incentives all stack on top of each other. Players who maximize these bonuses could see their actual take-home pay double their listed base salary, but you have to earn it on the court and be on a team that can afford to pay those escalators without incurring luxury tax penalties.
Notes, let's look at the pretty card. Oh, we even have man, I gotta tell you, AI, you're coming up in the world. You are. You're like 5 seconds away from activating Skynet at this point. Caitlin, thank you for the incredible energy, the passion, and the historic impact you brought to the WNBA. You've lifted the entire league. We're proud to call you our sister. With love and respect, the players of the WNBA and...
So, where exactly is this money coming from? That's the question no one in the league office likes to address explicitly, but the math is simple. The WNBA has signed a $2.2 billion media rights package with Disney, Amazon, and NBC. That's around $220 million per year coming into league coffers. Add in the renewed CBS and ION deals, which were formerly worth $60 million per year and are likely to be quadrupled in the upcoming negotiations, and you're looking at roughly $300 million in yearly media revenue. Compare this to where the league was only 3 years ago. The previous media arrangement was valued around $50 million each year. That represents a 600% increase in media rights value, and let's be clear about what drove 23 of the league's top 25 most watched games in 2024. Indiana Fever games averaged over 1 million viewers on ESPN, while non-Fever games struggled to reach 300,000. The business case writes itself.
Let's come on now. This is great, but what happens when the Caitlin Clark effect wears off and they're back to 3,000 fans a game? Damn. D-Zam. Wow. How the F is Cameron making more than Angel Reese? I don't know. Okay. We'll see here. We'll see. Angel Reese, $1 for every missed shot and rebound. Nice. Ooh.
But here's the painful truth that's causing consternation throughout the league. This wage explosion is directly related to one player's pulling strength, yet the rewards are disseminated throughout the roster system. Veterans who have been slogging in this league for a decade, playing overseas in Russia or Turkey during the offseason to make ends meet, are now watching rookies walk in and earn $500,000 in their first year. Is this fair? It depends on who you ask. The veteran perspective is that they founded this league, lived on poverty salaries, and deserve the majority of the new cash. According to the rookie perspective, they are now driving ratings and attendance, so every dollar counts. And stuck in the middle is the unpleasant truth that Caitlin Clark's popularity is responsible for 90% of this additional money, but she's signed to a rookie-scale contract that pays her less than numerous players who can't sell out a high school gym.
With CBS/ION, I don't know what that new deal, how much that media rights deal is. It was $60 million per year just for that part. I got to think it's got to be twice that now, maybe $120 million or something. My guess would be the media rights that they're working with right now is somewhere around $300 million a year. All right, so that's where this money is coming from. All right, it's always going to be media rights deals. That's the way it works. So anyway.
The comment sections are completely savage. One user commented, if equality existed, they'd be making $50,000. That is harsh, but it reflects the core economics that the WNBA has grappled with since its inception in 1997. The league was never successful on its own. It has been funded by the NBA for 27 years and operates at a deficit, which the NBA absorbs as part of its overall basketball ecosystem investment. The typical WNBA franchise makes approximately $10 million in income each year. Compare that to NBA clubs, which average $300 million. The discrepancy is enormous, and it is caused by basic market dynamics such as attendance, viewership, and sponsorship dollars. But here's what happened in 2024. Caitlin Clark's presence boosted Indiana Fever income by an estimated $40 million in one season. That is 4 times the average team revenue, and it occurred because she brought a college fan base with her who actually buys tickets and attends games.
Oh, shit. Now the players can't be getting detained by Russia. Brittany Griner doesn't find that joke funny. I hear he does not find that funny at all. Shame on you guys. Wow. Putin's like, damn, I'm going to have to pay y'all more money to get you over here now, huh? Yeah. Are they even playing ball in Russia anymore? Putin was paying.
The Russia reference in the comments is more sinister than it appears. For years, top WNBA players earned more money playing overseas over the offseason than they did in the league. Brittany Griner earned more over $1 million playing for UMMC Ekaterinburg in Russia, while her WNBA pay was $227,000. That financial reality explains why she was in Russia in February 2022 when she was arrested for cannabis possession, resulting in a 10-month imprisonment that required a prisoner swap to resolve. The international pipeline was how WNBA players made ends meet, but it also posed significant hazards. Foreign legal systems, political instability, lesser safety standards, and 8 months apart from family each year. The new CBA compensation structure is intended to eliminate that requirement. If players can earn $700,000 to $1 million in the WNBA, they will no longer need to chase Russian or Turkish money. This is a true quality-of-life improvement that should not be underestimated. Here's what makes this compensation revolution truly noteworthy, aside from the money amounts. For the first time in WNBA history, athletes may pursue a career purely in this league, without financial pressures driving every decision. That fundamentally alters how the league develops talent, maintains stars, and competes for attention in the larger sports environment. However, it produces fresh pressure that did not present previously. When players were earning $80,000, expectations were low. Nobody anticipated WNBA games to rival NBA ratings or attendance. It was a niche product with a devoted fan base. With salaries approaching 7 figures and media firms investing billions, performance expectations have shifted substantially. Fans who pay premium ticket prices and watch on national television are going to expect a premium product. That is where Caitlin Clark's comment about the stimulus plan strikes a distinct note. Because the uncomfortable truth is that the majority of these wage increases are supported by money she earned, but the players who received the largest rises aren't the ones driving that income. Aaliyah Boston's salary is increased to $1.1 million in part because she is a great player who is named to the All-WNBA team. But she also plays with Caitlin Clark on a team that sells out every stadium they visit. Remove Clark from the equation, and does Boston still command that salary? Maybe. Maybe not. The friction this causes can already be seen in how players discuss the league's progress. Some veterans have publicly dismissed the notion that Clark deserves credit for the rating increase, claiming that the league was already expanding and she simply arrived at the perfect moment. Others have been more gracious, admitting that her celebrity hastened a process that would have taken another decade otherwise. However, few have been ready to openly state what the financial evidence clearly demonstrates. Without Caitlin Clark's 2024 season, this CBA does not exist, at least not in these numbers. Consider the specific escalators built into the new CBA structure. Players who make all WNBA teams receive hefty incentives. Players on championship teams receive additional incentives. All-star honors result in raises. These are all performance-based incentives intended to reward excellence, which appears fair on the surface. But here's the complication. Media interest and fan vote, both significantly affected by team performance and individual popularity, play a role in these awards. Caitlin Clark finished second in MVP voting despite being a rookie, was named first-team All-WNBA, and led the league in assists. Those accomplishments set off escalators, but they also occurred because she played 40 games with extensive media coverage and national television audiences scrutinizing every performance. Meanwhile, players on teams that received no national television games had to work twice as hard for half the attention. The system rewards visibility as much as talent, yet visibility is not spread evenly. The international ramifications are equally important. For decades, European and Asian leagues have lured WNBA players by providing better compensation and care. Now, as WNBA salaries rise, the leverage shifts. Players can demand better circumstances overseas or simply choose to stay at home. That is already happening. Several prominent players who previously spent their off-seasons abroad have indicated that they will stay in the United States this winter to relax and practice. That is a direct effect of the financial security they did not have previously. But here's a question no one wants to ask aloud. What happens once the Caitlin Clark effect goes off? Because it will happen eventually. Maybe not next season or the season after, but eventually the novelty wears off. Casual fans go on to the next thing, and the WNBA returns to its core following. Can the league sustain these wages on organic revenue? Or are we preparing for a financial reckoning in 3 to 5 years when the media contracts come up for renewal? The comment, What happens when the Caitlin Clark craze wears off and they go back to 3,000 fans every game is harsh. However, it isn't wholly unfair. The 2024 season witnessed enormous increases in attendance and attention, but they were primarily concentrated around Fever games and Clark-related matchups. Non-Fever games on the same networks frequently attracted less than half the attendance. This is not sustainable league-wide growth. That one player is carrying the entire league on her back. Angel Reese's circumstance wonderfully exemplifies the complexities here. She earns $376,000, which is a significant increase from her rookie salary of $74,000. However, she is also witnessing teammates and rivals earning substantially more, while she is the one with the podcast, the sneaker contract, the festival performances, and the social media following. From a basketball standpoint, Camila Cardoso outperformed her in their debut season. However, in terms of economics and marketing, Reese's personality and brand brought in more cash for the league. Which one should be paid more? The CBA does not care about your Instagram followers or podcast downloads. It values draft position, years of service, and on-court performance indicators. That's definitely the proper strategy for competition integrity, but it leads to strange circumstances in which the guy driving product sales earns less than the player with higher numbers. And in a league that desperately wants to develop individual star power to compete for attention, that could be counterproductive in the long run. Consider how this affects Caitlin Clark specifically. She's making $528,000 in her second season, which is excellent pay. However, she is also the reason why her teammates earn twice as much as they would on any other roster. She is responsible for the significant raises that occurred from the CBA discussions, as well as the $2 billion investment by media corporations in the league's future. However, she cannot say any of this in public without being called haughty or divisive. So she stays quiet, plays basketball, and watches as others benefit from the ecosystem she created. The thank you card joke works because it is real. Caitlin Clark's accomplishments in 2024 have resulted in increased earnings for all WNBA players. That is not an opinion. It is established financial reality. The media deals were arranged with the expectation of ongoing development fueled by her celebrity power. The CBA raises were funded by the revenue she made. And the league's mainstream relevance exists because she introduced millions of new fans who had never seen a WNBA game before. The fundamental question isn't whether these salaries are justifiable or sustainable. The real question is whether the WNBA can establish a foundation strong enough to last beyond its present superstar. Because right now, the entire financial system is based on the idea that Caitlin Clark would stay healthy, popular, and in the league for the next decade. If any of those assumptions fail, the entire thing collapses. What do you anticipate will happen 3 years from now when these media deals are being evaluated? Do the networks anticipate sustained growth across the league, or do they envision one player boosting ratings while everyone else struggles to attract viewers? More importantly, how can the league develop other stars who can share the burden? Because if Caitlin Clark is still the only player casual fans recognize in 2027, the WNBA has not expanded. It's simply gotten more dependent on one individual. Share your opinions in the comments. Are these payments justified by the product on the court, or are players being compensated based on one rookie's sketching ability? Should Caitlin Clark be paid considerably more than everyone else, given her impact on league revenue? Let me know where you stand, and make sure you're subscribed, since this topic is only getting started.